Team record aside, 3 losses aside, Jayden Daniels, quarterback for the LSU Tigers, is our Heisman favorite, and we're going to tell you why coming up next.
You are Locked On NFL Draft, your daily podcast covering the NFL Draft. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, Locked On family? Welcome back to the Locked On NFL Draft Podcast, your daily podcast covering your favorite draft prospects, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank y'all so much for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen today and every day. Shout out for being our everydayers. I'm your boy, Damian Parson, always on the ones and twos. You can find and follow me on X at DP_NFL. I'm a national scout and a senior draft analyst. And guys, I got to kick this thing over to my guy, Mr. LSU 2019 national champion with them LSU Bengal Tigers, Keith Sanchez. You can find and follow him on X at TheTalentCode. Keep talking to him, baby.
What's up, Locked On family? This is Keith Sanchez, 2019 national champ with those LSU Tigers, and the other part of this dynamic duo that we like to call the Locked On NFL Draft Podcast, where we talk everything from college football to NFL football. And like we like to say, it all starts with the draft, man. So I want to say shout out to our everydayers. Thank you for tapping in. I am telling you, this is an action-packed show. Trust me, so go ahead and hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, subscribe to the video and make sure when you're at the end or if there's something interesting we say, make sure you comment. DP, we're going to jump straight into the slate, right? You kicked it off at the top of the show. You said Jayden Daniels is the Heisman. We're going to talk about that. Then we're going to get into these impact rookies because it's Thanksgiving. We have to eat. We have to fellowship. Hopefully, you guys are spending this Thanksgiving with people that you love, that are going to make you smile, is going to bring some happy moments to you, man. So we want to say, thank you for tapping in with us on Thanksgiving. Also, and then we're going to get into the game picks, right? And we'll see if both of us are going to be right, if both of us are going to be wrong. But before we do that, DP, why don't you hit them with our title sponsor?
This episode is brought to you by Prize Pick. They are the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNFL. Use the code, all lowercase, LockedOnNFL, for a first deposit match up to $100. The Heisman favorite for us right now, Keith, is LSU quarterback. No bias involved, guys. LSU quarterback, Jayden Daniels.
Yeah, I'll take it and go with it. I was stuck on it because you said that no bias involved, so you caught me off guard. And I just, sometimes you gotta self-check. You gotta check yourself within just to make sure there's no bias. And there's no bias here, DP. And I'll tell you why is because this Jayden Daniels roller coaster has been a process for me to get to this point, right? And I think he's the Heisman Trophy winner. You just look at the numbers, DP, and it's just the wow moments. I'm sorry. And to me, he had his Heisman moment against Florida, right? Where he threw for 370 yards, and then he rushed for another 230 yards. I believe that's 600 total yards offense from one person, DP. And that was yet again another shootout to the very end. And you look at his season, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. I believe he had four games where he passed for over 300 yards, another 2 where he passed for over 400 yards. Then he had 2 games where he's rushed for over 100 yards. Then he had 1 game where he ran for over 200 yards, and another 2 where he was close to 100 yards with 99 and 93 yards. So DP, the guy is consistently deciding if he's going to beat you with his arm or his legs. And you talk about the Heisman Trophy, right? And maybe you say most valuable player, right? But a word that we don't necessarily get attached with is most impressive player, right? Like who's been the most impressive and what they were able to do. And if I apply that context to the Heisman Trophy, then I will say it's Jayden Daniels.
No, and Keith, I looked at some numbers myself. Jayden Daniels is third in the nation in passing yards right now, with 3,577 pass yards.
That's important because people are saying he's a running quarterback.
Correct, right? Now, almost 12 yards per attempt, per completion, 36 passing touchdowns to only 4 interceptions, and his offensive line has been okay, but he's been sacked about 20 times. But Keith, let's go to the rushing side, right? He's 21st in the nation in rushing, and he's the quarterback. He's 21st in the nation with 1,014 rush yards, 10 rushing touchdowns, and he's averaging 8.2 yards per carry. Now, a lot of people are going to say, well, guys, this team got 3 losses. I understand that, and I get that. But let's say I'm talking about most valuable for me. That's what I look at with the Heisman, Keith. He's been the most impressive player, but he's also the most valuable because Michael Penix, you put him in LSU, he's not doing what Jayden Daniels is doing. Bo Nix in LSU is not doing what Jayden Daniels is doing. This is a different type of athlete and player at the quarterback position, and he's one of the best in the country in targeting the deep portions of the field. I think passes traveling 20 plus yards, 20 yards down the field. He's one of the best in terms of completion percentage. He is nailing those throws. Yes, Brian, he not I don't can say he resurrected, but he elevated Brian Thomas Jr., right? He elevated this young man where he was a guy that no one really talked about coming into the season. We knew who Malik Neighbors was, right? But he elevated that. Now you look at Bo Nix. Now Bo Nix is right behind him in passing in terms of passing yards, right? Bo Nix has over 3,500 as well, almost 3,540, 9.8 yards per attempt. He's got 35 touchdowns to 2 interceptions, but he's been only sacked 5 times. He hasn't played a lot of great defenses, right? You know what I mean? Like just what it is. Like the teams that are on their schedule, Colorado's a bad team. Hawaii's a bad team. They nearly lost to Texas Tech, but they won. Portland. Washington defense is not good. Washington State's defense is not good. Utah has a good defense. They just don't have a great offense. Cal, nah. USC's defense is awful, and Arizona State is awful. So it's like the level of competition in terms of, bro, when you throw for 414 in the first half, come on, man. That's like playing Madden on rookie.
Well, no, I'm with you, but I want to talk about this perspective of winning the Heisman Trophy, right? Because we say he's the favorite, and at this moment he should win it. But the question is, we talk about the recency bias and the fact that Bo Nix, Michael Penix, they may have the opportunity to have 2 more cracks at this, right? 2 more times where all eyes on them. Now we've had the conversation before, and we talked about Jayden Daniels had a Heisman moment. We're not quite sure if Bo Nix had one. Well, honestly, we could say
Michael Penix does.
Yeah, right? Michael Penix has a Heisman moment, and it was against Bo Nix, right? Bo Nix doesn't have one yet, right? But he has the opportunity. They play, is it the Civil War rivalry, I believe, when Oregon State plays each other? State. Yeah, that's a ranked matchup, big time rivalry, right? And then you can go on and you can possibly redeem yourself, right, with the win against Washington in the Pac-12 championship game. So if you ask me, DP, like what can hold Jayden Daniels from winning it? It's recency bias, right? And the fact that those guys, both Michael Penix and Bo Nix, both have an opportunity to do something impressive twice, while Jayden Daniels kind of only has one crack of it. Because we could be completely honest, right? It's not wrapped up, right? It's not a going away type thing where Jayden Daniels is by far the Heisman winner. I think honestly, up until the Florida game, which was 2 weeks ago, not sure if Jayden Daniels was in the top 3 for people, right? It was just they were kind of off at LSU, winning some games. He was putting up some crazy numbers, but I'm not sure if he was necessarily the Heisman leading or a top 3 candidate.
No, 100%. And Keith, the phrase is, and it's coined, out of sight, out of mind. When Bo Nix and Michael Penix, if they face off in the Pac-12 championship game, Jayden Daniels is going to be at home, right? So both of those guys, like you said, will have the opportunity to go one-on-one again, right? And who's going to carve out that moment in that big, and not just a Heisman moment. This is for the Pac-12 championship. This is for the chance where if you're Michael Penix, you say, man, we go out here and we handle business. And we go out here and ball. We knock off Oregon. Guys, we almost guarantee our spot in the top 4 of the playoff race.
That's another key, right? And then this will be, will they be the first Pac-12 team into the college?
I think so.
So you have that storyline. Then you have the storyline of the Pac-12 being done after this year, right? And that would be a storyline also. So, and like we keep saying, like the Heisman is about storylines. Like when Joe Burrow won it, it was the undefeated season. It was going into Bama. It was Florida Elite. It was Auburn. It was going to Texas, right? Like that 2019 season, DP was full of Heisman moments, right? From the very beginning to end, it was almost like a rock star type of tour, right, of Heisman moments. And you can continue to go through with RG3, with Tim Tebow, right, Reggie Bush. You can continue to go down a list, and majority of those guys, it's not just playing well, it's a momentum, it's storyline, it's perspective, it's celebrity, it's type stuff to them. And that's the only part that kind of worries me, because I'm just not sure if the media is fully embracing it, and if the media wants, well, we are media, right? But bigger media, maybe, right? They want a different storyline that involves Pac-12 and things of that nature.
No, 100%. Like I said, at the end of the day, right now, Jayden Daniels, he's been a superstar. He's been a superhuman Like just putting that LSU team, a team that has a bad defense collectively that just doesn't like play complementary football every game. Like the Florida game should not have been a shootout. You know, Graham Mertz and Billy Napier should not have put up 40 points against LSU. But how did they win that game? Because of Jayden Daniels, right? You know what I'm saying? Every game has been a shootout. And typically, that's when you see what happened. For me, what I love about it with Jayden Daniels, and I'll close with this. Those are pressure moments. Because it's like, my team doesn't have we don't have a shot if I don't be otherworldly. And then you see him be otherworldly in moments where he has to be. And that's where, for me, that's why he's my favorite. But again, I think the true winner of the Heisman is probably going to be out of this Pac-12 championship game, whether that's Bo Nix or Michael Penix. But we'll see what happens, because also we got to keep an eye on Michigan, Ohio State. If Marvin Harrison Jr. goes out there and balls out with the inept quarterback play that he has in Kyle McCord, man, he's going to make a case for himself coming down the stretch as well.
Yep. So long story short, DP, Heisman race is not over, right? We only have 1 week left of regular season football, and the Heisman race is not matched up. I'm not done, right? It's not finished up. I'm sorry. But that's what makes college football fun. That's what makes this year in particular fun. But we're almost through college football. DP, on to the NFL. I told you at the top of the show, man, we take college, we talk NFL, we do it all, man, and we relate it back to the NFL draft. Coming up next, man, for today, we're going to talk impact rookies. Thursday night football. We always talk Thursday night football, but it's Thanksgiving, right? We have 3 games that's slated to get kicked off with the early game. Then we have a midday game, and then we have a night game. We're going to talk about the impact rookies that you guys should look out for, that are going to make plays that can determine whether one of these teams lose or win.
Today's episode of Locked On NFL Draft has been brought to you by PrizePicks. They are the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. With basketball season here, guys, you can now pick combo projections across football and basketball from the Specials League, a league created specifically for combo projections that includes 2 or more players from different sports or leagues. For example, Steph Curry plus Travis Kelce at a 10.5 combo of 3-pointers made plus receptions. Do you want to play alongside some of PrizePicks' favorite players like rapper Meek Mill and comedian Andrew Schultz? You can now find community plays under the promos tab of the app to view entries from some of the biggest names in the PrizePicks community each and every week. Thursday night on Thanksgiving, I am taking on PrizePicks Zach Charbonnet, a rookie running back for the Seattle Seahawks, for 76.5 rush and receiving yards versus the San Francisco 49ers. Guys, all you need to do is go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNFL. Use the code LockedOnNFL for a first deposit match up to $100. Keith, these teams on Thursday not only should be thankful for their families, but thankful for the rookies that they drafted in the 2023 NFL draft. And I'll start with the Detroit Lions, going up against the Green Bay Packers, Keith. If you're the Detroit Lion fan, if you're not thankful for Jahmyr Gibbs and Sam Laporta and Jack Campbell and Brian Branch at this point, I don't know what to tell you, right? So you think about impact rookies, Jahmyr Gibbs has come on as of late, right? And they're starting to even divvy up the rushing and the snaps between him and David Montgomery more, and giving Jahmyr Gibbs more opportunities to be an impact player. And when you think about Quay Walker and that defense, that front 7 for the Green Bay Packers, you know that they're going to try and play physical, especially in the run game, right? But I think that's where you spread them out. Ben Johnson opens up the concepts and get Jahmyr Gibbs going in the passing game. So I think he could be he has a potential to be a big impact player, an impact rookie for the Detroit Lions in this game.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers for this game, DP, not picking them to win, but as far as the impact rookies, right? You talk about the Luke Musgrave, and we talk about the heels of Jordan Love playing consecutive games of playing high-level football, right? So I want to see if he continues to get these weapons involved. Packers Nation, right? We've been listening to our guy over there on Locked On Packers, and he's been talking about how hype Packers Nation has been about rookie Dontavian Wicks, right? And then obviously we know Romeo Doubs is a second-year player, Christian Watson, second-year player, but also tight end Luke Musgrave is a rookie, right? So that's 2 rookies and 2 sophomores that you need to be looking out for. And then they also still have guys like Jayden Reed, which I haven't seen a whole lot of Jayden Reed this year, but also another rookie. So this whole entire Packers, I guess, receiving core, skill position is full of rookies and second-year players. So they're always going to be highlighted and they're always going to be a key to it. And I want to see if DP, I think this is key. And you're playing against the Detroit Lions, right? And 5 years ago, people would have cut this game on at 11 o'clock Central Time, 12 o'clock Eastern Time, right? And said, okay, Lions probably going to lose by 2 touchdowns. Aaron Rodgers going to throw for 300 yards. Then I'll eat, take a nap, right, halftime, because this game will be a blowout. But it won't be the same, this DP. Like, and you're just hoping, if you're a Packers fan, that you're not on the other side of a potential blowout, right? And that your team is competitive, and that it actually looks like the future is bright for this young team, because they do have a young nucleus. Now it's about getting the momentum and then kind of being really competitive in these divisional games.
Yeah, for me, their impact rookie is Jayden Reed. Keith, right now, he's leading the team in receiving yards, man. You know what I mean? And it's crazy, with Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson. I think Watson's missed a couple games, but still, he's missed, I think, 3 of the 10 games that they played. But yeah, he's caught 32 receptions for 463 yards and 4 touchdowns. I think last week he had a rushing touchdown as well. He's showing to be like a full, complete weapon for this offense, that they can use him in a multitude of ways. And I want to see if they can continue that, keep that going. But like you said, with Jordan Love, getting the ball, like you mentioned, Luke Musgrave, get that big, athletic, 6'6", 255-pound grown man the football in the middle of the field. Come on, J Love, get the ball to that big fella and let him cook, Keith. But you want to talk about cook, man? I look at the Dallas Cowboys, Keith, and for me, I think about Mozzie Smith and what he means to this team, because he's starting to flash some pass rush value, quick wins, quick hands, quickness off the ball. You're like, man, if you can do that consistently, now we're going to say, let's start him every game. If it's a situation where you can play 40+ snaps a game, let's do that, because if you can make that type of impact, we know that the Washington Commanders go as Sam Howell can go offensively, right? But also they try to get the run game going, right? So for one, having Mozzie Smith in this game, take away that run, eliminate that immediately, right? Take that run game away, force Sam Howell to have to throw the ball against your defense and against your pass rush. And you think about this offensive line for the Commanders, it's not the greatest. It's actually a weakness for them in pass protection. So if Mozzie Smith and this defensive front can stop the run, keep them in 3rd and longs, 3rd and passing downs, then you queue up Micah Parsons, you queue up Sam Williams, a second-year player out of Ole Miss, you queue up DeMarcus Lawrence, and now you can get into the backfield and create some havoc.
Yeah, I like that call out, DP, because I actually think this could be a trap game for the Cowboys. And listen, I haven't had a good record, DP, of calling upsets, right? They picked Georgia to upset. I mean, Ole Miss to upset Georgia, and that went totally the wrong way. But you think about the Commanders team coming off of that loss to the Giants, right? They're going to play inspired football. Then the Cowboys are kind of coming off the exact opposite things, where they kind of just blew out the Giants with little to no effort, right? And you always worry about how we're going to show up for that game, right? And I think Sam Howell, Eric Bieniemy, that combination, they'll show to be able to put up some points, and that's kind of what I'm expecting, and be able to run the football, because that's the one issue that's been said, and it not just said with us, right, but throughout media and the statistics to back it up, is the Cowboys' rush defense, right? Leighton Vander Esch is out, so now you got Damone Clark. Where do you put Michael Parsons? Where do you put Michael Parsons on 3rd down? Do you keep is it Jeremiah Bell, the safety from Florida A&M, Marquise Bell. I'm sorry, I don't know why I said Jeremiah Bell. Marquise Bell. Do you line him up at linebacker, right? But he's 215 pounds. He's actually a strong safety. So you have to find that. Where do you fill that hole, right, for the Leighton Vander Esch loss? We know that our guy from the Indianapolis Colts, right? He just got released out of nowhere. It was like, Indianapolis Colts, what are we doing, right? Darius Leonard, but he won't be able to play today, right? So you have to kind of figure that thing out with the linebacker position. So I'm with you there, Miles. So why am I saying Miles? Mozzie Smith. I was about to say Miles. Mozzie Smith is definitely a guy that you have to look out for. But wrap up this tonight game. Obviously, the Seahawks, we hope that Geno Smith can play. But the 49ers, right, and they've acquired Chase Young. What young guys on either side, for either team, DP, that you would be looking for in this late night matchup?
I have 2, Keith. Zach Charbonnet, Kenneth Walker III, my guy, K-Walk, K9, who's their leading rusher and their RB1. he suffered an oblique injury. And I think he's probably going to miss a couple weeks. So what does that mean? UCLA rookie running back Zach Charbonnet is going to get the bulk of the carries the next couple weeks until Kenneth Walker is ready to go. And that big physical open speed and open field, Zach Charbonnet has to be big for them, right? Set the tone. The 49ers is a physical team, a physical defense. You got to meet that because it's just like a shark that senses blood in the water, or a dog that smells fear. If you're not physical, you're not going to match that. They're going to try and beat you up all game. So that's how you kind of counteract that. In the second, for me, Keith, Jackson Smith-Njigba, right? Like the rookie wide receiver. This rookie wide receiver class was talented with him, QJ, Zay, and Jordan Addison, but the wealth hasn't been spread around in Seattle in terms of the passing game like that. I think he is third. He's their wide receiver 3. You know, he's only got 36 receptions for 365 yards and 2 touchdowns, but you expect that San Fran want to keep DK Metcalf from getting over the top, stop Tyler Lockett from being that kind of intermediate run at the catch threat. So if you can get those advantageous matchups for JSN, let's get him the ball in the passing game, the quick game. Let him be who he is, and that's a good football player. So the 2 rookies I'm keying in on, Zach Charbonnet and JSN.
No, I like those 2, especially the JSN call out, because you know this rookie class, right? In the first rounders, right? That was Jordan Addison, that was Quentin Johnston, and Jackson Smith that's kind of been out of sight, out of mind in Seattle, right? To where it's not a big market and people aren't really talking about, you know, kind of where is Jackson Smith-Njigba. So we'll see how this thing continues to unfold, because we know that's also another talented football player. But DP, let's keep it going. Let's get to our favorite part of the entire show, and that's the game picks. Thursday, Thanksgiving, we are picking the game picks. See who's going to win, who's going to lose. Coming up next.
It's time to pick these games, guys. And up first, 12:30 p.m. Eastern time, Green Bay Packers going on the road to the Detroit Lions of Ford Field. Keith, who are you picking in this matchup?
The Lions, DP, the Lions, they're showing resiliency. They're showing that they're not the Lions of old. Their ability to come back on against the Chicago Bears, right? We know that they're, even before that game, it's like, okay, the Lions are the more talented team, right? And they seem to be heading in a different direction. But for them to be able to lock in and come back against the Chicago Bears, it showed me that, like, hey, this is truly a new day in Detroit. So I'm going to pick Detroit to win this game.
Yeah, I'm picking Detroit as well. They're 8-2 right now, and they're actually one game back from time, you know, being in that race for the number 1 seed in the NFC. Did you think about that? With the Philadelphia Eagles, they're one game back. I think the Eagles are 9-1. These guys are 8-2, and I think they are going to be able. I think this could be a kind of a close game for maybe 2.5 quarters, but I think that they have a multitude of ways of winning, right? With the run game, the passing game, the way that they structure and get who they get the ball to. I think Ben Johnson continues to show that he's an offensive mastermind. So I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions to protect home field. It's at 4:30 p.m. Eastern time. Keith, we got the Washington Commanders going into Dallas. Dallas coming off a big win, a blowout win, 30-13 versus the Carolina Panthers. Keith, you said this was a potential trap game for the Dallas Cowboys. Who are you picking in this matchup?
Yeah, DP, and I'm sorry because I misspoke earlier. I talked about them playing the Giants. It was actually the Carolina Panthers. I had the Blues and then the total dysfunction, you know, with the franchises. It's kind of all the same, right? You play the Panthers, you play the Giants, kind of the same thing. But I talked about a upset, DP, but I'm not predicting that upset, right? I'm not doing that. I tried it, and it didn't work out for me. So I'm going with the Cowboys to win this football game, but I do think it will be a competitive and be a good football game.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a physical game. They're starting to get Tony Pollard going in Dallas, CeeDee Lamb, and then
that's something to look out for. Is this run game with Dallas? That's the part that kind of concerns me. Like we need
that's what travels late in the season into the playoffs, getting the run game going. Don't have it all on Dak, but Dak has been balling all season. You know what I mean? And then people need to give him his love and his respect because that man has been putting out quality football, high end football at that. But I'm going with Dallas as well. I think that the Commanders will definitely battle. This is, the same way that they battle with the Eagles, right? Like they make everything a dog fight, and they do that because it's a divisional game. You expect that. But I think being at home, Dallas is going to be able to get a nice little lead. In that fourth quarter, it's Micah time. It's Micah Parsons' time. My long-lost cousin. It's going to be Micah Parsons' time. And he's going to go out there and do his thing, man. But, Keith, Sunday Night Football, San Francisco 49ers heading into one of the more hostile environments in the NFL. They're going to see the 12th man, the Seattle Seahawks, at night, 8:20 p.m. Eastern time. Keith, Geno Smith may or may we'll see how healthy he is, if he plays or not. Who are you picking in this matchup?
DP, if Geno plays, I'm picking the Seahawks. Can I phrase it like that? Because I think the Seahawks team,
I'm fine with that.
They've matched up and they've drafted well to match the physicality of the 49ers. And what we've seen in the past, that if teams come out, and talented teams come out and they can match the physicality, you can kind of slow everything else down, right? But it starts with the physicality in the run game. And then once you stop that, and we did the film breakdown over at the Draft Network of Brock Purdy, right? Once you force them to get into empty formations and get in obvious passing downs, right? Then that's where the issues come. And I'm not expecting for Brock Purdy to play bad or anything like that. I just think that this is not a going away type situation. We are much closer, DP, to back when it was Michael Crabtree versus Richard Sherman, the Legion of Boom versus, Colin Kaepernick and Alex Smith and Harbaugh. And, we're back. We're real close to those days as far as this rivalry going, where it's headed. And I think if Geno Smith can play, I think the Seahawks win this game.
Yeah, this is a tough one, man. Debo, CMC, Brandon Ayuk. But this Seahawks defense being healthier, Devin Witherspoon, getting Tariq Woolen back is big, right? Because now that puts Witherspoon back. You're kind of moving around from the outside to the nickel. He can blitz, run, defend. He's physical. He brings that Legion of Boom type of attitude. I'm gonna go Niners in this one. I'm gonna go Niners. Okay. I think they're gonna Kyle Shanahan. One thing about it, he's a great play caller. I think that he's gonna be able to try and devise ways to attack the weaknesses of this team. Try to attack the second level, get all the misdirection stuff that he likes to do, the play action, get him going in one direction, allow Brock Purdy to make those quick decisions off the play action. But like you said, I will say this, like you said, and we saw it on tape, if you can stay within range with them, if you can score on them, right? And not only that, but if you can take away the run game a little bit and say, Brock, you got to open it up. You got to go empty formation. You have to throw. That's when you start to see the worst of Brock Purdy. But I'm going to pick the San Francisco 49ers. I think that defense and that Chase Young and Nick Bosa, I'm keeping my eyes on 2 edge rushers to get after the quarterback. So I'm going to take the Niners on the road.
All right, cool. Hey, there we go. Like, that's one of those situations, DP. We both cannot be right, man. One of us has to be wrong. We will see, man. We will see how this thing turns out, DP. But I want to say, man, it's been a great show. I want to say happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Just it's the fellowship of it, right? The fellowship of this holiday, being around family, being around loved ones, being around people that make you smile, man. Take some time, man, away from work, away from the hardships, and just be appreciative, man. Just be thankful, right? And that's what I plan on doing, DP. My family, we eat early. I don't know if your family do Thanksgiving dinner or if y'all kick it off a little early. So what happens is, DP, the strategy is that you eat early, and then now you get 3 different meals, right? And I go at it 3 different times. So I'm going to be packing the calories on. So I can guarantee you, man, Keith Sanchez will be trying to run a couple of those things off tomorrow, right? I'm trying to run off a couple of those pounds and get it going. But like I said, man, shout out to y'all. Thank y'all for tapping in with us for your Thanksgiving episode of the Locked On NFL Draft. Shout out to our everydayers, man. Make sure y'all like, make sure y'all comment. If you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe to the show. We're just getting started with this draft process, man. But I want to say thank you every single day. You can find me, Keith Sanchez, on X at The Talent Code. You can find DP, Damian Parson, on X at DP_NFL, man. And like we always say, y'all talk to us because we like to talk back.
Go subscribe and follow for free on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Get the latest episode as soon as it is available. Like Keith said, thank you guys so much for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen today and every day. Shout out for being our everydayers. Come and join the conversation again tomorrow on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.